Hi guys, I'm Anita and I'm back with another video, and today it's time for another weekly reading plan update thing where I'm talking a little bit about my plans that I set for myself last week, whether I met them, and my new plans for this week. So last week I had quite ambitious plans to finish everything almost that I was working on, and I had planned to finish 7 books, which was very ambitious and probably a little too ambitious considering things. I ended up finishing 4 of the 7 books, so I didn't completely meet my goal, but at least I did make a lot of progress on the majority of them. I probably would have finished at least one more book had it not been because that I suddenly had to start reading Skyward when I noticed I have to hand that back in or it expires from my overdrive library on Wednesday. No, I think it's sometime Thursday, but I have to finish it by Wednesday, so as it doesn't expire during the day and I can't finish the last bit. So yeah, so that changed my weekend plans a bit. So yeah, but my totals were as follows. I read a total of 1,374 pages, and that averages to about 196 pages per day, which I think is pretty average for me. So yeah, I had a couple of days where I didn't read as much as I wanted to. I think my main issue was that I didn't have as much audio time as I usually do, as well, because for some reason I couldn't get to those 2.5 hours a day that I wanted to. The first of my goals was to finish Trail of Lightning by Roanhorse. This is a BookTube SFF Awards nominee in the debut category, and so I read it because of that. This is also an urban fantasy set in the future after some kind of apocalypse has happened, and we follow this monster slayer thing. And all of that is usually my jam, but for some reason I was never completely loving this. I didn't really ever connect with the characters as I wanted to, and I'm really sad about that. But I don't know if I'm intrigued enough to see what's going to happen in the next one. It definitely ended up with a bit of a cliffhanger. So yeah, but I finished this one, as I said, and I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Next of the books that I finished last week was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was one I was already quite into when I started this last week, and I was really enjoying it, and I ended up loving it. Every time I listened to it was just super immersive, and I ended up crying a couple of times. I don't do that. I've said it before, I don't do it often, but for some reason, recently I have found books that made me cry a couple of times. A lot of things happened in those last pages, and I was really happy with the whole book. With everything that happened in the book, I was really happy, and so I end up giving this 5 out of 5 stars. It's one of my favorite reads of this year so far. So yeah, to me it's definitely worth all of the hype that it gets. The next book that I finished was Fire in You by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the last and final book in the Wait for You series. This is a new adult contemporary romance series. It follows new couples with every book, and it is like sort of people after college trying to find their life and meeting their love spouse thing. And this one, I didn't know any of the characters before I went into it, because I read up on it because I was unsure, but I think that both of the characters were part of novellas, and I haven't read any of the novellas. I'm very much like, if I can't access the novellas almost for free, I'm not reading novellas in book series. It might be tacky or stupid, I don't know, but I figure if I can't read all of the main books on its own, then I don't think that the author did a good enough job of making this story. But it was no problem following along with the book. I got into it pretty easily, but I didn't love this one as much as some of the others. I think the first 4 were my favorites, I mean, the first one was a little, when I've been thinking about it, not as good, but I liked 2, 3, and 4 evenly. And this one I gave, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. So I still enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. The last and final thing that I finished from my last week's plan was The Woman in Cabin 10. I still have my bookmark in, but I swear I finished it. Was The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. This was my book that I started and not finished yet for the month, but it is actually also a TBR unwrapping. It's from my first round of TBR unwrappings, I'm pretty sure. And so now that's off my list as well. And I don't know, I think I get what a lot of people has been saying about this, that she has a pretty compelling writing style, and the way that she builds up this suspense in the beginning, or I don't know if it was the end. I don't know, there was part of it that really worked, but then there were other parts of this book that didn't really work for me. But I'm intrigued enough to try something else by Ruth Ware in the future, but I definitely don't, I mean, for me it's definitely a 3 out of 5 stars. It's sort of a middle of the road thriller for me, but I enjoyed it, I didn't hate it. Yeah, it was okay. I don't think it's a thriller that I want to reread though. So yeah, as I said, my plans changed a little bit when I went into this weekend and ended up having to start Skyward by Sanderson. So that meant I didn't finish anything else. But now let's get into my plans for this week. It definitely has some carryovers from last week, and hopefully I can finish them pretty quickly. And some of them I have all week, but let's get into them. Going into this week, I was currently reading When the Sky Fell on Splendor by Emily Henry. I'm still working on this. Now I'm 90 pages in, so I've read another 50 pages since last week, and I'm enjoying it, so I'm looking forward to getting back to it, but I don't think I'm going to get back to it this week, unfortunately. I have some other obligations, but I will get back to it soon and hopefully finish it. I was also reading, obviously, Whose Body by Dorothy Alsayas, as I was last week, and I think I've calculated myself around to having about 100 pages left of this. I'm, according to my Kindle, I'm 52% through it. According to my count, if it's correct, it says I'm 100 and something into the book, and it's 151 pages. So that is my dilemma. I don't know which is correct. But we'll see. And then I have also like 385 pages left of Skyward, which I started this weekend. So I have quite a chunk still to read over the next couple of days. But this is my primary focus on the first 3 days. And then I'll go and read Whose Body afterwards and see how far I can get with that. If I finish that in time, I'm gonna jump into something else from my Owls TBR, because I have to focus on that as well. The next book I have that I was also reading when I went into this week was 99 Red Balloons by Elizabeth Carpenter, my genre TBR book for the month. But I'm planning on finishing this week, and I've been listening to it today. I made a lot of progress on it today. My plan is to finish it tomorrow and maybe get started on my next read. Right now, I've changed my plans to try and finish this by Tuesday, and so I still have quite a lot of time to work on some other audios for the week. The first thing that I'm going to pick up for my Owls readathon is going to be Men at Arms by Tara Pratchett. This will be my audio that I'm listening to at home, so I'm already going to be starting it today when I'm doing my chores and stuff. I have to fold some laundry and clean the kitchen and stuff, and for that I'm going to be listening to this, so I'm looking forward to that. I've put down myself that I have to listen to half an hour each evening, and then the last bit will be evenly divided between Saturday and Sunday, because it's a little bit more than a half an hour a day. So, but that's okay, because in weekends I do my food prepping, so I usually have about 2 hours of that one of the weekend days, and then I think it will fit pretty well with the amount of reading I get into this. The next book that I'm planning on reading is my audio after I finish 99 Red Balloons. I'm going to be starting on the retelling Owl, which is Grimm by Kenneth Andersen and Benni Bødker, who has rewritten or retold the old original stories. 10 of the Grimm stories has been retold to their from the original stories, which are a lot more darker than the usual ones that we've been told today, which I also mentioned in my TBR. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's only 5 hours long, so it's going to be quite quick, and I might be able to finish it in a day. And when I finish that, I have set myself a goal to start out on Fool's Assassin by Rob and Hobb, because this is a really long audio that's going to take me a lot of time. And I have put myself down for 100 pages of that, but I might be able to get through more. But I set myself a tentative goal of 100 pages of Fool's Assassin just to get started with this book. And for me to get to that goal, I need to read 1,450 pages, and that equals to about 207 pages per day. So that is a lot more closer to last week's totals. So I think I might be able to actually manage this. So yeah, these are my plans for this week. Let me know in the comments down below what you're planning on reading for the week. Have you read any of the books that I've been talking about today? And what did you get through last week? Did you meet your own personal goals? I'd really love to hear that. Yeah, so this is all I have for you today. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Goodbye!